happening in front of our eyes right now.
Wow. I can't believe God took us here, bro. We didn't even plan any of this.
God did this, bro.
It's not about us, man. It's about Jesus, these people.
This isn't the end. Well, protesting, this is a controlled protest. Thank you, God, for this.
Lord, I don't know what to think about
Lord.
this. I'm not going to say I support this or condemn it, God. I just pray, Lord, that you have your way. You'll teach me, Lord, the right way to think about this.
Keep these people safe, God.
They're over there too, Lord.
I think I found the antidote.
Anger, pain, the ugly, the bad. There was an underlying cry for justice inside of our hearts. It's a desperate, yet bold and courageous call for justice. It's so passionate that it can take the side of the injustice going on around us, even if it has nothing to do with us. We take it personally. That's how passionate it is. Thoughts and feelings like we need to do something, we need to make a change, run through our minds as real as our blood pumping through our veins. This is why I'm not surprised by all the protests going on about George Floyd. Injustice must always be protested and confronted. This is a God-reflecting characteristic that each of us have as humans. Injustice breaks God's heart. It angers him too. As I watched the horrifying video of George Floyd dying, I was hurt inside, almost to the point that I would have disregarded any crime that he may or may not have committed just to fight alongside with him against whatever force treated him this way. In that moment, I realized, God, you died for us. You were free. You didn't need us, yet you made yourself a slave to bad people to unjustly be punished just so that we could be free. I see the amount of unity in the people and protests, and I'm like, whoa. The death of only one sinful man can change and impact the world so much. I get excited by the cry for justice that we have. I love how much power our unity can have if we stand together. But I've lately been getting a little bit confused and kind of worried, and I'll explain why. See, a horse has a bridle on it, or a bridle. This bridle is used by the rider. The rider pulls right, and the horse goes right. If the rider pulls left, well, then the horse goes left. The rider uses the bridle to control the horse. I'm concerned because my generation is starting to look like this horse. When we are passionate and stand together, we are like a mighty, strong force that propels forward fiercely like a horse. But I'm getting the feeling that we have a bridle on us, that if someone or some people pull our feelings and emotions and thoughts just the right way, they can actually channel our force in any direction that they want. Yeah, we may be powerful and change history when we stand together, but what for? If someone figures out how to use a bridle on you, they can use your strength and power to accomplish their own plans. If they can pull your emotions and thoughts and feelings to get a desired response that they want, then you no longer are free. And you're only being controlled and manipulated, like a horse with a bridle on it. Motivation without discipline is chaos. I had a man from the army tell me that once. My goal is not to try to speak to people who believe in God or call themselves Christian only. Because whether you believe in God or not, there are some underlying principles that remain true in our world today for everyone. The first one is that with every action, there is a consequence, whether it's good or bad. And the second, we all have free will, meaning we have the freedom and the ability to make our own decisions whenever and wherever, for whatever reason, however we want to. This sets us apart from all other species on our planet. See, in the face of injustice, we have the freedom to decide what we are going to do, how we will respond. See, I agree with that population that says some action must be taken because of this injustice. But what kind of action must be taken because of this injustice is where I depart from them. See, in the short 20 years I've lived on this earth, I've experienced injustice in many ways and realized a few things about how to respond to it. I remember being mistreated by my own family members and brokenhearted because of it. This injustice left me with pain and sorrow and hurt that I felt like was never attended to properly by my mom or anybody else out there. So the next 16 years of my life was a journey of how to respond to injustice. See, I would run away, but it caught right back up to me. I tried to ignore it, but I ended up neglecting myself. I tried to drink, but I'd black out. I tried to watch porn, but I became ashamed. I tried to smoke to get high, but I never learned how to deal with my lows. I tried to cry, but I never got comforted. Anger and rage, but that only fueled the fire to make the cycle to continue to repeat over and over. See, I hated my stepdad. I noticed my stepdad to be a problem. He was always angry, I felt like he always caused problems. So I responded to this injustice by taking my anger out back on him, wishing him death, calling him names, calling him out, fighting him back. But what happened after all of this brought so much surprise to my soul. What I found out was that none of that helped. It created a relationship in which two people are broken, hurt, always angry, fighting and destroying each other, and being so divided over one unified cry of their hearts. It was the cry for justice. And Jesus cried for justice. He cried and prayed earnestly for justice as he prayed in a garden called Gethsemane. This even took place right before God was about to finalize the redemption of humanity by Jesus' death, resurrection, and soon return. Redemption. From what? That's right. Injustice. Humanity needed to be saved from injustice. But listen carefully and closely. There is a greater injustice being done than the death of George Floyd, the corruption in the White House, skepticism about the coronavirus, the Supreme Court overruling the church, chemtrails, vaccines, murders, rapes, name-calling, neglect, broken promises, etc. And not to overlook the importance and values of these things in any way, because they are important. But there's a greater injustice being done, and it's the injustice done by every man and every woman who has ever walked on the face of this planet. The injustice in every man and woman's own heart. An insult to God, a mock towards God, a lack of concern toward God, unbelief towards God, lack of trust in God, disobeying God, lying about God, spitting in the face of Jesus, whipping him, forgetting about God, worshiping demons, worshiping fame, worshiping things created instead of the Creator. Do y'all get the picture yet? We are the biggest offenders of justice ourselves. The very one who loved and created us, we treat as dust in the wind, trash, or like spam in our email box. We treat him like nothing. We lie, we cheat, we lust, we become prideful, we steal, we disobey, we rebel, we speak death, we speak negatively, we get angry and irritated over small matters, we make bad decisions, we fail to see the corruption within ourselves and the way that we treat God unjustly. It's like a blind man trying to lead another blind man to Six Flags. Injustice is real, and if anyone has committed a crime, it was also all of us. Humanity against the only perfect man who walked on this earth, Jesus, against God. Now, regardless of what you believe, whether you believe in Jesus or not, was he really sane? Was he really right when he said about injustice in Matthew chapter 5, verses 38 through 40? And I quote, "You have heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn your other cheek to them also. And if anyone wants to sue you or take your shirt, hand over your coat as well." Could this historical Jesus man really be onto something? Have we been wrong about our response toward injustice? I once heard a man tell me, dark cannot defeat dark. Only light can do that. And hate cannot defeat hate. Only love can do that. See, I had to relearn how to deal with injustice. I had to forget about the offense of the crime against me and learn how to love the enemy of my life. And this set me free from a repeating cycle that left my stepdad and I hurting each other. Can we really have victory in the fight against injustice by following and trusting the words of Jesus and loving our enemies? I bear witness that yes, we can. The deeper and more important question, though, is to be answered between you and the ones causing you injustice. Will you take a leap of faith and to believe in the words of Jesus and watch as injustice is defeated truthfully? Or will you continue to fight injustice with injustice? There's only one who can save us all. Yes, there's only one who can save us all. He died for you. He died for me. He died to set us free. He died to set us free. When I walk on the waters, I won't fall. I walk by faith, on His name I call. Injustice rise against me, but God, He will defend me. Oh, oh. There's only one there's only one who can save us all. There's only one there's only one who can save us all. Jesus.